Hello, everybody. It is Carly Spina. Happy Wednesday. Today is March 15th. Very excited that you are joining me tonight, whether you're on Facebook or Twitter. Very glad that you are here. But go ahead, grab something, grab whatever you need to get comfy and cozy, and I will see you back here in 30 seconds. All right, everyone, we made it to Wednesday. What an exciting week. So many wonderful things that are happening in our schools right now. Just so many good things, so many good things. And I know a lot of us are getting ready for spring break. So that always feels good, doesn't it? Like when spring break is just like on the horizon, like you know it's coming, it's in sight, like it's great to love our job and love our students and our families and our teammates. But it's also nice to look forward to a bit of a break. So I'm curious, how many days left do you have a countdown going? It's okay if you do. If you could leave that in the comments, how far off you are from your break. Or maybe you're currently on your spring break. And in that case, hopefully you are relaxing all week and having a good time. But so many great things happening here at the IRC. I know we mentioned it last week. If you missed last week's episode, you can just find it, scroll on our feed. You'll be able to find it. Last week, we talked all about interviewing and getting ready, like preparing yourself for those interviews, because next Saturday, or no, this Saturday. Oh my goodness, it's already this Saturday, y'all. This Saturday is the big IRC job fair. So if you are EL bilingual dual language and you are searching for a new position, new role in a different district, you got to be there. You got to be there. And you got to watch our previous episode for our interviewing tips and tricks and all those things. So that is coming this Saturday. And y'all, oh my goodness, did you see the IRC just announced? Well, two big things, really. We have our bilingual parent summit. That is a huge event every single year, and it's always like the first weekend in May. So that's coming up. So registration is now open for teams to come in. So if you have a BPAC, or if you have like family liaisons or parent liaisons, this is a great time to bring a team of family members, caregivers, maybe some teammates, maybe some staff, and you bring them all together and you attend. There are just so many big things. We always have it's always a very popular event. So registration is open for that, which is so exciting. I know a lot of families look forward to that event every year. And there's a lot of really cool content. There's a lot of sessions for families to attend. They get some good professional learning. They get some learning. They get some networking opportunities. So anyway, it's a really great event. If you have any questions about that event, go ahead and leave them in the comments here. And we can address them either tonight or next week. But that's coming up. That's super exciting. Tell all your friends, tell all your families. But the other really big news, oh my goodness, is that the big IRC conference, the state multilingual conference, is back in person. It's back in person, you guys. I'm so excited for this. So every year, except for the past few years, right? It is this huge statewide. Everybody comes together, EL, bilingual, dual language, and everybody. And we all come together for a few days of learning in Oak Brook. Y'all, it is the event of the year. So make sure you find all of that information on our socials, it's all over the place. But book that time now. Let your, if you're a teacher, let your principal, let your director know right now, hey, I want to go to this. I need to be there. I need to get all of my days in. I need to be there for each of these days, because really that is the place for all of us to come together. It's just the best event. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that it's back in person. So I've got it marked on my calendar, like nothing's touching it. I just cannot wait. So that's really big. I love any in-person conference. I really do. Just because again, like I like that collaboration. I like that time to meet other people from other schools, other districts, just to see like how they're doing things. Sometimes like, when we have those conversations, it can give us ideas. We can ask them questions, all those types of things. So that actually is perfect for tonight's discussion, because tonight we're talking about collaboration. We're talking about collaboration. And sometimes when we hear the word collaboration, it almost sounds like just like a buzzword. In education, we have a gazillion buzzwords, right? Or they're treated as such. They're treated like buzzwords, and they don't really mean anything after a while. Like you say it to so many times. But when we're talking about collaboration, and really we're thinking about collaboration through our lens of EL, bilingual, dual language, right? Supporting our multilingual students. There's a lot to unpack there. But I forgot, I had one more thing to share with y'all. Before we hop into our collaboration chat, I want to share with you, I keep saying I'm not going to order any more books. I'm not going to order any more new professional reading. Like no more. I'm just going to read the stack I have. But y'all, my stack is growing, and it's a good looking stack of books. Let me share with you. I can't remember if I shared this one or not yet, but this is The Playful Life, and this is Jed Dearybury and Dr. Julie Jones. Oh, they have two books together. They have one that's The Playful Classroom. So like incorporating more play. And it's not just for early childhood, y'all. It's not just for little kids. It's for everybody. It's for all of our high school kids too. We need that play. Zaretta Hammond, right? She wrote Culturally Responsive Teaching in the Brain. Amazing book. I have that one some here. Oh, it's right here. See? You guys, my stack of books is insane. I have to stop buying. This is a great book. But in this book, she talks about like how our brains work and how our brains learn. We need dopamine and we need serotonin. We need novelty. We need fun experiences. So here we go. Let's have some fun. So this book is The Playful Life, and it's about incorporating more play, like just into your daily life, like as a teacher, yes, but also like as a human being. And I'm loving it so far. It's so good. And if you're not following Jed Dearybury on the socials, Google him right now. You won't regret it if you're not already following him. But I have so many other good books. Let me show you. And I think I have two more on the way. Oh, I need to stop buying books. Okay, but let me share with you what I got. Because a few really good ones that I'm super excited about. So this one's not like, it wasn't published like this year or last year. I want to say it was a few years ago, but I haven't got my hands on it until now. But this is Byron McClure and Kelsey Reed. Hacking Deficit Thinking, 8 reframes that will change the way you think about strengths-based practices and equity in schools. So I am super pumped about this one. I do a lot of speaking when I go to schools or conferences too. I speak on this about the idea of establishing language norms and kind of considering the language choices that we make about our students or even about families that we serve, because sometimes some of our language needs some disrupting. And we need to kind of just, be reflective in the language choices we make. So I am so excited to dig into this book because I think it's just going to jazz me up. So I'm really excited for this one. So that's one of my books I just ordered. This is another one. And this one, when you're ordering books on Amazon and they give you you might also enjoy this. I saw the title and I was like, whoa. So the title is From Ghosts to Graduates. From Ghosts to Graduates. And I was like, well, that's intriguing. And then the subtitle is An Educator's Guide to Identifying and Reconnecting Disengaged Students. Oh, right. So this is Emily Freeland. And this is I forget how to say this, Routledge. Is that the company? I don't know how to say their name, but I'm super excited about this one. Haven't started it yet, but very excited to dig in and get my learn on. So this one, I have seen a few friends, and I can't remember who exactly, so forgive me. I have seen a few friends post about this one. This one is called Humanizing Education for Immigrant and Refugee Youth. and it says 20 strategies for the classroom and beyond. You know, I love the word beyond. So I was like, so this is like a collection of several authors. So, and this is the Teaching for Social Justice series. So again, very, very excited to dig into this one. Have not started it yet. Now this one, I actually won this book, and I was so excited because I love anything that Allison Apsey writes, anything she creates, any content she pushes out. It's gold. It's so good. It's so inspiring. And I love Allison because, again, like she's like one of those people that just radiates sunshine, but also she like has such good, like those little mic drop moments that make you go, oh, or like, that's really good, or like knit that on a pillow, right? So I was so excited to win this book in a recent giveaway from the Teach Better team, which was so nice. But this book is called Leading the Whole Teacher, Strategies for Supporting the Educators in Your School. So I know a lot of us, again, as we talk about collaboration, like this would be a good one to add. But I know a lot of us are also in leadership positions. Some of us are coaches, some of us are coordinators or directors. So this would be a great, great read. So I'm really excited to hop into that. And then the final book that I wanted to just mention that's on my stack, my new, this one is written by Henry J. Turner and Kathy Lopez, and it's called Change the Narrative. So again, when we're talking about like disrupting things in our schools, I was like, change the narrative. I love this title already. And then the subtitle is How to Foster an Anti-Racist Culture in Your School. So I am so excited to read this one. And I think it's probably like, you know, when we talk to kids about book pairings, I bet these two would make a really good pairing. So maybe I'll read them back to back just because I feel like they would have a lot of good, you know, pieces there. And then I want to give a just a quick shout out to my friend. Oh goodness, where is his book? It's over here somewhere too. Goodness, where is it? That's not it. Well, he's got a book, and I bet it's in my bag because when I go to schools, many times I'll grab like a few books to recommend to folks, and I bet that's where it is. No, that's not it. But he has a podcast that is called the Counter Narrative Podcast. And it's so good because, again, it's kind of like breaking up the narrative, things that folks are saying about students, things that folks are saying about teachers, or not teachers, families. So it's a really good podcast. That's one I definitely recommend. And I'll have to find it. I'll post it in the comments. It's so frustrating when you're like, you know, the book is over here. But again, I think it's in a book pile from when I was visiting a school. So anyway, so that's my stack of books that I wanted to share with y'all. I really got to start reading and stop ordering. It's like an illness, y'all. It's bad. But let's talk a little bit tonight about collaboration. And again, it has kind of become almost like a buzzword. So we want to unpack it. So it's not a buzzword. It's a real thing that we all do. And as folks who serve multilingual students, the list of who we collaborate with, y'all, the list is like everybody in the school. We collaborate, we work with, we partner with every single person in the school. And so it makes our job very hard. It makes our job a little extra exhausting because we are everybody's teammate. But having that, like knowing that we are everybody's teammate, it is important to really think about like, what are some strategies that I can use to kind of streamline some collaborative practices, like my emails that go out every single year, my resources that I share to promote professional learning, like my bank of like go-to strategies even. Like it's so important that as we kind of go through the year, and as these different topics pop up, like we kind of keep gathering and collecting them. And I was sharing this recently in a meeting with a really great EL teacher. Especially if you're the only one EL teacher, or there's just like 2 or 3 of you, this is so important. Save like your scripts of the conversations that you had. I learned this from a colleague, Molly Murky. When I first started to be an instructional coach, she was like such a great mentor to me. But I've also seen this pop up in like blog posts for leaders. And it was interesting to kind of think about it from my lens. I was the only EL coach in a district of 8 schools. But I found that practice really did help me. So like, think of the emails we send every single year. Like we send an email at the beginning of the year, like, here's who your students are, here are maybe their proficiency levels. Here's a little portrait of who they are and what they're about. And then like, please come to me so that, we can collaborate, we can plan together, we can design some resources together, whatever it is, right? So that's an email that goes out every year. Another email that goes out every year is like our access test email, like, hey everyone, access testing is coming. All the things, all the reminders that we give to teachers, like save all of that and maybe keep it in a Google Drive and like put like tabs on it so that you could say like, okay, this is a thing that comes up in October. Or here are my November resources, or here's all of my stuff for IAR testing and getting in those accommodations and stuff, all those things entered into, our system. So that is a good way to kind of streamline some of our collaborative efforts. I mentioned this earlier, like our go-to strategies, our go-to like resources and ideas. That's also a good thing to streamline and just keep like a running tab. So again, you might use like Google Sheets or whatever and keep tabs on the bottom and say, these are my go-to math resources. These are great for science. These are great for social studies, and keep adding to them so that, again, if like you're a middle school teacher or a high school teacher and the science department's like, hey, we need some stuff, like we need some content to support our students. What do you have? You can say, oh, here we go. I've got all these things. They're kind of ready for you. And then the other piece, Tan Nguyen has a really great blog called Empowering ELLs. And in his blog, he has all these different, he calls them bathroom briefs. You probably have seen them. They're all over like Twitter and stuff like that. But he's got a lot of great content that and he designed it. He calls it like PD on the go. And so it's like a printable like graphic, and you just pop it onto the, the doors of the stalls so that when teachers are using the bathroom, they can see that. And it gives them a little, little tidbit of information of how to support and serve our multilingual students even better. But I also have heard like some pushback on that. Like some people have said like, Carly, don't bother me when I'm using the bathroom. Let me go to the bathroom. And, so that's cool. I get that. So if your staff feels that way too, like I totally get it. That makes sense to me. Maybe just remove the bathroom brief, like keep Tan's name on there so they know who created it and they can go to him for more resources and check out his resources. But maybe you put that like in a staff newsletter, or maybe you put that in the copy room instead. So you have these like little moments that can serve as a collaborative opportunity. So again, maybe it's a resource you're just putting out and posting, or it goes in a digital staff newsletter, something like that. But then you can say, and as a follow-up, if you'd like to meet to talk about this, let me know. Now, I know that your schedule might not allow you to do that and co-plan with a gazillion teachers. That's reality, right? But we do want our staff members, our teammates, our colleagues to come to us for, for those dialogues, those moments of like, hey, have you tried this tool? Or, hey, there's this great resource that would really work well for this student. So it's all about building our banks so that we can enhance our teammates' banks, right? We want to just kind of continue to grow and stretch ourselves and each other. So I want to share with you a few great resources. And anytime we talk about collaboration, I always mention Dr. Andrea Honigsfeld because she is the queen. I adore her. She's also just the nicest human being. But Andrea and Maria G. Dove, they have written several books on collaboration specifically for multilingual students. So I want to show a few of them to you. And some of them are like, what do they call it? Like second editions. So this one is collaboration and co-teaching. So this is a great one. Again, not all of us are co-teaching, and that's fine. That's great. But then check out this one. Well, here, let me show you this one. This is their co-teaching for English learners, the yellow version. It does have video clips, like you can scan them on like a QR code, and you can see I just pull so much. Do your books look like mine? Like they all have a gazillion Post-its? There are so many things. They also have this one. This is their second edition. This is the black one, but so many good pieces. There's a lot of cool like templates and stuff too. So even if you're not co-teaching, these are excellent resources for you to support that collaboration piece. And then let me show you this one. So this one is like a new release. This is just a few months ago. I think it was November, December that this one came out. And this is like, if you are a dual language educator, boom, here you go. So this book has a lot of really, again, good examples, good stories, good reflection questions. Like this would be a really good one for like a book study. In fact, I would say that all of their books are kind of set up and designed in a way that would be really conducive to a book study. And again, for any type of professional learning, even if your staff doesn't have time to read the entire book, I would buy the whole book for everybody if your funds allow for it. But maybe just explore one chapter and that's it. Like that might be all the time you have, like for digging into one resource. That's fine. But like dig into that one chapter. And then that way everyone still has the whole book. So once they go through that one chapter, and again, it could be a random, like chapter 5, it doesn't have to be chapter 1 of the book. But then they have this as a tool and a resource. So after they have that dialogue about the chapter, they've read it, they've talked about it, you kind of get energized, right? And then that kind of builds interest to read the rest of the book. So that way, everybody on the team can go deeper if their schedules allow for it. I wanted to highlight a few other books. And these ones, I'll mention these two first. So when we talk about collaboration, sometimes people will say like, oh, like professional learning, like on PD days or workshop days, like we collaborate a lot on those days, or like on those district mapping days, like where we're mapping out our curriculum, right? That's an example of one type of collaboration. But I really love these two books here because they talk about kind of extending our ideas of what professional learning is and could be. So this first one is called The 4 O'Clock Faculty. And this one is so good. He calls it a rogue guide to revolutionizing professional development. It's so good. If you are like an instructional coach or a leader of any sort, a coordinator, anything like that, or just like if you're a teacher and you really love professional learning, this gives you like a gazillion really fun, really cool ideas about how to mix up some of our professional learning experiences, because it really should go beyond, the district institute day. Like all of the things that we do, like think of like Twitter chats, think of like, I don't know, hallway conversations, like all of those are collaboration. All of those are professional learning. We just haven't called it that. So anyway, this is a really good one. And then the other one kind of related to that is called DIY PD. And this was like a collaboration between Dr. Carol Salva, Dr. Katie Topple, and Tan Nguyen. And again, they kind of go through all these different examples. And it's like a really pretty book. They've got a lot of like really pretty color pages and like cool samples of things. But again, we're kind of extending the idea of professional learning and like how to go get your own. Because sometimes as EL bilingual dual language teachers, sometimes like we'll go to a session for like our district institute day and we're like, this didn't really like I can find connections, but it didn't really fill my professional learning need. So many times, like we go outward, right? Like we go to the state conference, we go to different events, we go to IRC workshops, right? Like we get our learn on in different ways. But I really love their book. Both of these are excellent resources. And then the final one that I'm going to share with you is this one. And this one's called Portraits of Collaboration. Now, y'all, this one is excellent for many reasons. So I like this one because, again, sometimes when we talk about collaboration with other teachers, we just think of co-teaching. And this one really helps us to kind of open up our lens just a little bit, because collaboration comes in lots of shapes and sizes, right? It can be co-teaching. It can just be like a co-planning meeting or a team meeting. It can be those informal hallway conversations. This one really does a cool job. And each chapter is set up a little bit differently. And it kind of walks through, again, like different educator experiences. So like, for example, chapter 4, this is written by Illinois' very own Jackie Griffin and Stephanie Just. They're fabulous. They're fabulous. But their chapter is called Authentic Co-Assessments, Designing, Tracking, and Analyzing Student Progress. So how cool is that, right? So they walk through what they did when we're talking about authentic co-assessment. There's chapter 7 that's about relationship building, which is huge. And Valentina Gonzalez, she's a big friend of the Illinois Resource Center. We love her. But she wrote a chapter here called Cultivating Collaborative Practices with Reluctant Teachers. Y'all, how many of us need that? How many of us need that chapter? I know that would have come in handy for me. But this is a really outstanding resource when it talks about kind of looking at collaboration through many different lenses, because it's not just one thing, right? All of our collaborative exercises, all of our collaborative practices really stretch on kind of a continuum, right? So if you have great collaboration resources, I'd love to hear them. Go ahead and drop those in the chat. Or if you're catching this as the replay, please, again, go ahead and capture that in the chat so we can all learn and grow from you. But I feel like there's so much more to be said here. I know tonight I really shared a lot of resources. But again, as you're kind of thinking about summer and you're thinking about like maybe you're trying to spend some final dollars for your grants, like some of these resources would be really, really powerful, because collaboration is part of like our district mission statement, and it's on our letterhead, and it's all of these things. And it's a part of our Danielson framework, right? So these might be some potential resources that you utilize as you go through ongoing professional learning and as we build up kind of our collaboration toolkits. All right. So I've talked a lot tonight. There's so much more that can be said, but I want to tell you next week on Wednesday, for our Wind Down Wednesday, I'm going to be joined by 2 of my IRC colleagues, and I'm so excited for it. And we're going to be talking about literacy. We're going to be talking about literacy. I feel like that's like such a hot topic. Literacy for multilingual learners. So if that interests you, make sure you set your calendar notifications now so that you can join us next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. over on Facebook and on Twitter. But we're very excited for that. But friends, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks for tuning in with me tonight or catching the replay. And we will see y'all next week. Take care, everyone.